What's up, guys?
Hello,
I'm David,
I'm Brendan.
and we are Two Overthinkers.
That's David's thing now. He's going to be the one who says two overthinkers every time we start recording.
Not necessarily, we could change things up. I mean, you never know what's
No,
going to
but
happen.
it sounds good when you say it.
you never know what's going to happen on this show. Trust me. So
right.
today we're talking movies. We're going to switch gears a little bit.
Yeah, somewhat. You know what? How was your week, though?
How was my week?
Yeah.
My week was pretty good.
It was. I see you about every day at lunch.
That's true. Yeah. We, not too many secrets here.
Yeah. We got back from seeing a movie just a little while ago.
That's right. We saw Cars 3 in theaters. All the action.
I don't know how long it's been out. How long has it been out? Do you know?
It's been out, I want to say 3 weeks, maybe on the order of 3 weeks. Is what
Because
I
the
say.
theater that we went into was really, really small, and there were very, very few people in there.
That's true. Yeah, it's definitely been 3 to 4 weeks. I want to say. I'll pin my flag on 3 weeks, and we'll go with that. But let's talk a little bit about it since we just went and saw it. How did you feel about Cars 3?
I enjoyed it, but most people that know me know that I really like not necessarily the Cars movies per se, but Cars in general. So, all right. So the old movies, they had Cars 1, 2, and now 3.
Right.
The Cars 1, I enjoyed at the time that had come out. It was more boosted for a younger audience.
Yeah.
But it had little like Easter eggs throughout the whole movie. I don't know if you noticed, just Cars characters are based on actual existing people throughout throughout racing history and even current racing. So those were kind of cool. We had a friend of the family that we had over around the time when it first came out on DVD, and he hadn't seen it, and he was a friend of my parents who loved NASCAR.
Yeah.
And he came by, and we plugged that in, we watched it, and it was cool because he was able to point out things that I didn't notice about it, just because he really loves NASCAR.
Absolutely.
So, in the second one, have you seen the second one?
I have not seen the second one, so I skipped that one because everyone said it wasn't great.
Okay, it
and
wasn't great.
honestly, I was never crazy about the first Cars or even the entire franchise. Like, kind of similar. I had a friend who was kind of into NASCAR, and that family loved that movie.
Really?
And I actually saw it at their house, but I wasn't crazy about it. I kind of enjoyed it, but it was one of my less favorite Pixar's.
The second one was, for the most part, about it was like a spy movie of sorts, which really got off track to what they usually are.
Yeah.
So it was like, Mater and Lightning McQueen, they went to Italy, I think, and it was all these spies and these conspiracies and things going on about them sabotaging Lightning McQueen and all this, that, and the other.
Yeah. I heard it wasn't.
It wasn't about racing. It was about,
Yeah. Now, I don't know if anyone cares about spoilers, but we're probably going to spoil the movie here. So, full disclosure, I don't know if anyone particularly cares about Cars spoilers, but yeah.
That is a good point, because I...
And kind of getting into that, the third movie, which I was, sort of lukewarm about seeing, to be perfectly honest, but a couple things that stood out to me was, first of all, when I saw the trailers for it, the animation for Cars 3 seemed really impressive. And it kind of had me interested to watch the movie, and it pretty much delivered. I thought the animation was remarkably good. Some of the scenes where he's driving along the road, some of those scenery scenes were very impressive. Just the
especially
realism.
the ones where they're not showing his face, and it's just sort of like the side view of the car or the back of the car, and it's enough so that if you had no clue that you were watching a Cars movie, you'd be able to say that looks like a real car.
And the scene where he crashes and he's like slow motion flying through the air, and like the details on the car and the asphalt and just like the racing scenes in general too. It was beautifully animated, very colorful, but very realistic for an animated movie. So that was impressive to me.
I remember when we went to go see a movie with our small group of friends. What did we go see? We first seen that trailer.
Yeah, I want to say it was Pirates of the Caribbean.
We saw that recently. Yeah, it was the newer one. Yeah, that was okay. But anyway,
that one wasn't. I was.
But when that trailer had played, I knew what it was, and you were just sort of, after we had gotten out of there.
The first scene, I thought it was a live action movie.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was like the first scene. They showed like the track and then a car flashing by or something, and I thought it was real. It was so good, and then I saw it was Cars 3. I'm like, whoa, that caught my eye. Was the animation for sure?
Yeah. I remember the first scene of the trailer was like them zooming in on the back wheel and the exhaust, and you could see like the patina in the paint and things. Just those little things that you like.
Very detailed.
like they're trying to capture the imperfections.
Yeah.
So
no, it was
intentional imperfections.
It was good.
So,
and the other thing I liked about the movie was it kind of got back to the roots of the first one in a lot of ways.
What I thought was cool about that is you could essentially eliminate Cars 2 but
it never happened.
You could butt these two together, the Cars 3 and Cars 1, and you would never know there was a Cars 2. You could call this one Cars 2.
It really felt like a continuation of the first Cars, and I liked the way it really got back to just the racing part of it, and like the whole focus on the struggles of McQueen with these newer, younger racers, the newfangled rookies who are faster, you know, and they're beating him, and then he has this struggle to try to get back to the top. So I enjoyed how it was just kind of a good old fashioned sports movie, really. You've got the old timer who's the great, but he's, you know, the rookies are coming and overtaking him, so he has to go through this journey to try to become faster and get back to the top.
And their whole deal with that was it was the mirror image of Doc. You know,
Yes.
I don't know how well you remember it. Doc was based on an actual character, an existing person in real life. The Hudson Hornets, when they first came out, they were beating all of the competitors, and that was sort of how they stuck him in there. That was I don't know what history the directors did on checking all of that, but they picked all of these cars specifically, some of them based on actual cars that actual people drove at the time, and that accident was an actual, more or less, an actual accident.
Yeah.
They did have a career-ending accident for a specific driver of the Hudson, and they and they were mirroring that with Lightning in Cars 3 with how he had this. It wasn't, I don't think, career-ending, but it was. I felt it didn't feel as important, the accident, to me throughout the movie.
You're talking about McQueen's accident in the movie?
Accident.
Yeah, it was, to me, it was less about the accident and more about the fact that he was losing every single race to this fast guy. I don't remember his name, the kind of the antagonist of the film.
I don't remember.
The fast car. He was like the fast black car, yeah. Black and blue. Cool looking car.
He was, but all the trailers really emphasized his accident, you know, and people were looking at that and speculating, oh, it's going to be like Doc's accident, it's going to be a big deal, it's going to be throughout most of the movie. It wasn't. It was that was a good.
It was
5
more of
minutes.
an emotional thing, honestly. Like it wasn't like physically his accident put him in any disability. It was more just an emotional thing where it's just like Doc, you know, I have this accident at the end of my season. He's being beat by the faster cars. So yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. It's not a movie that like I would ever be super crazy about.
Yeah.
But it was fun and I was, to be quite honest, I think I was more pleased with it than I would have thought when I first heard like Cars 3 is coming out, because I was like, Cars 3, I don't really care. Saw the trailer, I was like, I'm intrigued by the graphics, and then I actually saw the movie and it was fun. So that was good.
One thing that they were trying to put across throughout the entire movie was that Lightning McQueen was the veteran, which was interesting. They were putting that as he's a classic car, an old car. The new cars are coming in, they're beating him, and you look at that, and I guess, like I had said prior on our drive here, we sort of grew up in, you know, late 90s, early 2000s, and a lot of those cars that they were showing that were the old cars aren't really old, to at least me. They had like a scene where there was a Corvette that said, oh, make us old guys proud, to Lightning, and it's just sort of, that Corvette wasn't really an old Corvette. That had to have been an early 2000s Corvette.
Right.
It'd probably be around 15 years old by now. So it was a hard throw for me to take that as they're getting old and they're classic cars.
And for me, like, I was almost looking at it more as like from a sporting perspective, just like age, like a younger, so less about like the design of the car and just like a younger car is like faster just because they are, you know, younger. And, you know, the Cars universe is a little odd in that way. Like the rules are not very specific on like even what the cars are, but like that's a whole nother separate
I don't
thing.
know a whole lot about NASCAR, but I do know back when they used to actually race different brands of cars through on racetracks together. Like the Hudson Hornet would race with like the Fords and things like that. So
they still have different engines inside the cars. Like I believe the body design is I don't think it's completely standardized. I think there is room for variation.
I'm not entirely positive.
But I do know they have different, they can have Chevys or Fords or different motors.
From what I've looked at it, they can have different engines, but they're all held up to a certain standard and limits. They have limiters on certain things on these cars so that one car cannot be faster than another. It's all skill-based.
Interesting.
That's what I've been told, and I've heard multiple times. It's become a skill-based sport because there'd be people throughout history who, there was this one guy, he was iconic for finding loopholes. Now, there was a gas tank size limit. He actually took the fuel lines and made fuel lines that were gigantic in diameter, effectively adding like 5 more gallons to his gas tank. And it was his loopholes, things like that. So they like, when you interviewed at work and you got the job, you know how they gave us that list of these are all the things you don't do. You know that list.
Vaguely.
I had talked to our supervisor, and she's like, what's sad is it only takes one person to do one of these things for this to end up on a list of things not to do.
I remember.
So that's sort of like what I hear from like this. Is there are people that have found loopholes and done things like that. And it only took one person to make all of those rules effective throughout history up until now. And they've standardized all of these cars. If you watched the first one, they had like the blue car, the Dynaco car.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called. I should know this.
Wasn't that character in this movie as well?
He was like a...
I don't remember his name, but he was in the movie.
He was the... What is
he was
it
like
called?
crew
Chief.
Queen's friend. Yeah.
He was a crew chief. He was racing in the first movie, but that car is, I believe that car was made in the 70s. That's a classic car, and it was weird in the first movie for that car to be racing with Lightning McQueen, which is, I don't even know what kind of car he is. He's just a generalized generic car for the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to take him as a Corvette or something just based on the way he looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, that's what sort of you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a Cars universe.
The way I look at Cars, is you just never think too deeply about what's going on with the cars because it's kind of a weird thing. Where are the people? Why are they cars? You know, it's just you don't even have to go there.
You ever look at the Super Carlin Brothers?
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh my gosh, the Super Carlin Brothers. You pull them up on YouTube. They are like Disney Pixar conspiracists.
Oh, okay.
They go through and they have like this whole theory that the Pixar universe is all intertwined and connected in one way or another. Not like in the same timeline. They're saying that like these movies take place at different places in time, but they're all connected. It's weird stuff, but they go over everything.
It is intentional that a lot of Disney movies have connections. Like if you go to Nemo, in one scene, you can see Buzz Lightyear toy in a toy chest in the dentist office in Nemo. Right. And I believe there's other connections in other things too.
There's a lot.
I don't know how Cars could be connected.
Did you catch the one in Cars? When they were at the Derby, one of the cars that got knocked out caught the Pizza Planet rocket that was on top of the
I saw the planet, but I saw the rocket. I didn't catch that it was
that was,
Pizza
if
Planet.
you read the side, it said Pizza Planet.
See, that gets into a creepy thing, like, where are the people? Did the cars kill all the people? Or did the people somehow assimilate with the car? Like, I don't know. It's weird.
This is why...
Don't think too much about it.
You go to Super Carlin Brothers if you want to think too much about it, because they have this whole thing on why are toys alive. They give this whole technical explanation.
Everything's alive in Pixar universe.
They use the same explanation for the toys, for the cars, and for the same explanation for the Monsters Inc. for like their energy source. The screams that they would gather. It's ridiculous. It's a complete overthinking. Huh? Yeah. It's funny.
Overthinking it.
But anyway, what did you think about all the mixed matched cars in there? I think that was
it was fun. I didn't really think too much about it, to be frank. Yeah. I probably didn't think about it as much as you did because I'm not as huge of a car person. But I just kind of thought along the lines of just, you have the new, like, I feel like in NASCAR they're always trying to get like a slight edge, so there's always like the newer cars and maybe slightly ever so slightly faster. The newer drivers eventually, in all sports, you always have this storyline of the older veteran who's getting up there and not as fast and as young as he once was. And that's like kind of that's how I kind of took it.
It does make sense to take it that way. When I say most of I'm not going to say most, it's standardized in NASCAR. All cars are supposed to be the same. It's just skill based. There would be people that would do those loopholes and they'd cut all of that out and just standardize everything. So I found it hard to take that when they have the new kids coming in, because if you look at those are like, you hear the engine differences in those. Yeah. They sound like nowadays how they have electric cars.
And of course, the world universe of cars certainly could have different rules than NASCAR.
They do. True. I know. But I try to connect it to the world because they use influences from here. So figure like the NASCAR... Or not the NASCAR. You've seen the Tesla car that they were releasing?
Yeah, the electric car.
It's partially electric, partially gasoline. It's both. They've used that method in a couple of. I've seen it in a Porsche, some modern cars. No, in race cars.
Okay.
More modern race cars. I can probably show you later on. But they've done one in a newer Porsche. It is partially electric and it's partially gasoline.
Interesting.
It can run solely on electric or solely on gasoline. Here's the thing. The reason is the electric motors have a lot of torque. They're very, very quick. They can take off really fast. So the gasoline engines are good once you've gained that speed.
Right, yeah.
And you continue pushing. So they're very, very quick, and they have newer things that are electronic brake assist.
Yeah.
And all of these taking and reusing energy from your brakes. It's crazy things, but I've seen little hints to that throughout the movie.
Interesting,
I don't know if you've seen those, but the newer advanced cars were like that.
Well, there was a whole bunch of scenes where they were kind of like showing these different advancements of like aerodynamics and like different technology, which, I mean, I didn't pay attention to all the details, but I can kind of see where that is coming from.
Right.
Although I find it interesting, kind of getting back into the real world, that you would use like electric motors in a race car, because it feels like, I'm not sure, like you say it can accelerate faster, but it seems like acceleration is not really the issue with a race car. Like it's more about, like NASCAR is like what, hundreds of laps. So
yeah, I don't necessarily know.
Yeah,
like 300 or 500. I don't know.
Possibly different. I know like Formula One is quite different in how those cars are.
I like Formula One because there's more turns. There's a little more going on. I don't like left turns all the time.
Yeah. I honestly haven't really watched either, but like just theoretically, I would be probably more enjoy Formula One because their courses are like, they actually have the courses inside a city,
right,
and they're just like doing all these crazy turns and trying to get as much speed as possible.
Then we had the end of the movie. Remember?
A bit of a twist at the end there.
Well, they had the end of the movie where essentially Lightning took the Hudson Hornet's place as a crew chief.
By the way, I don't know who made the rules for this race, but that seems quite illegal to me. Like, I'm not sure. And they both win? Like, okay, guys, let's...
That does make sense because it is team-based. I understood that part, but switching crew chiefs and then overriding...
But switching cars, so if a car... let's say your car is running a race, right? I'm going to assume there's a certain toll it takes on the racer. Like, almost like, say, if you have a human sprinting a marathon. You can't have a human jump out of a marathon at the 13th mile mark and then have another human jump in and then finish the race. Well, that's not fair. So how is it fair for another car to jump into another person's place on a race?
I sort of take it as what are those races where they the running races where they have people run and they pass
they pass a baton
and then they continue running.
That's completely fair. But this is not a team competition. It's NASCAR. So, but it was a cool thing. I liked the plot device in the movie, but I was just questioning a little bit why that rule exists.
Well, have you seen? Here's something else. I'm gonna bombard you with more.
Oh boy, here we go. Lay it on me.
Have you heard of the 24-hour Le Mans?
No, I have not.
That is a 24-hour endurance race. I don't know how long they've been doing. They've been doing it for many years. It's a battle of brands of different cars. They would build a car for the Le Mans race. They would race for 24 hours with 3 drivers who would rotate every. I don't know, so many hours.
1/3 of a 24-hour period, which is 8 hours. Math on stream.
Sounds about right, yeah. So they would do that, and it would be a battle of whoever first place.
Right.
It's team based because they would have, say, Porsche. They'd take 3 Porsches out. Right. So if 2 of them break down, they can't bring them back in. If two of them break down, and the third one wins, that's a win for them. So that was a team-based thing, and it was an endurance race. So I know Audi and Porsche have been going at it for years because they have been able to make a vehicle that is capable of enduring a lot.
It's interesting,
but that's not NASCAR.
That's a pretty cool idea, though. Just in general, like to see which car has the most endurance and has the capability to actually drive that.
Yeah,
much.
I've been wanting to watch a Le Mans race for such a long time. I like them because they have twists, turns, and things.
Yeah.
And it's not always the same. And they do it rain or shine. And
it's also a race, too, so it's not just endurance. They actually are racing as fast as possible as well.
They do them rain or shine.
And they build specific cars for these, though?
Yes. These are, I don't...
Sort of like muscle car style.
They do have a class where you can't, exceed a certain type of class, but they are they build cars that are within that class. and they cannot take in, like F1 level vehicles because
Right.
that would be unfair. But they are very, very similar.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
So
That's pretty
no,
cool.
I don't think that made very much sense. I think I explained that very poorly.
Well, that's
But
a
we'll
cool
find
idea.
out.
I still hold to my original point, though, that doesn't quite fit with the same principle as this Cars race.
No.
But
It seems very, very flexible.
it was cool for the movie, and I kind of appreciate. I thought it was a neat way to kind of. You had the story of McQueen and then the Cruz, whatever her name was, Cruz.
That's Cruz Ramirez.
Yeah. That was a cool. I
it's-
kind of liked that.
That's another thing. All of these newer supercars were like Hispanic or something. Did you notice that? They had like a Spanish accent and they would say
Well,
something.
she was. I didn't know what the other ones. I don't know.
You just hear one of them talk. Like in the beginning, remember he rolled up to a garage.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's like, "Hey, what's happening? You know what happened with this guy who left?" And
Yeah.
the car backs out of the garage and he says like his name, and his name sounds Hispanic, and he says it with a Hispanic
Oh.
accent. I
I didn't think that particular scene. I remember it being more of a almost an African American accent, but whatever. It's
I don't know. I
know.
felt that way, but okay.
Possibly. Maybe they're just trying to make the Cars universe more ethnically diverse. Nothing wrong with that.
That does actually also.
But it was,
That also goes into the fact that they had to that they included the second racer had to be female.
Yeah.
So
It was.
that was
I'm
sort
fine
of
with it.
predictable.
Yeah, it was-
I could have predicted that. So
Oh well, yeah, because you had the old timer who was also the.
yeah. She was also based on an original character. For those who don't know, it was another character in the movie that when he went looking for Doc's crew chief who trained him, he came up to like this. It was like a bar and grill or something. It's funny that they called it bar and grill, but they go in there to drink oil. But
Again,
it's another
Cars
thing.
universe is off the wall.
But they go in there and they're looking for his trainer, and they come across this group of cars. He was like an old Chevy or something.
Yeah.
There was a Ford, and I don't know what the girl was, but she was based on one of the
Looked like
first.
some sort of station wagon racing.
Yeah, she was based on one of the first women racers back in the same time that the Hudson Hornets had come out.
So that's interesting, and this is something I don't know. Is there female racers in NASCAR? I would assume.
I believe so. Yeah.
I mean, there's really no reason not to, right?
No, they have to be diverse.
Yeah, and I mean, it's
they have to appeal to everyone.
There's only, I mean, there is a
Correct.
physical component to it, but it's nothing that the difference
Yeah.
between a man and a woman would make any sort of
I-
difference necessarily.
From what I've been told and seen, women also tend to have faster reflexes, can react faster to certain things.
That is a very interesting discussion, which I wouldn't mind getting into, because it kind of comes back to, this is going to be completely off topic,
That's okay.
but I watch quite a bit of esports, which
Okay.
is again kind of off topic, but there is kind of a discussion with the fact that pretty much all e-athletes are male currently.
Mhm.
And so people ask, like, well, why is this? And it's comes down to different factors. But one thing that has been researched is the difference between a man's brain and a woman's brain, because there is differences. And one of the things is like reaction time, or also just the way we process things. And some certain things will give women an advantage, certain things will give men an advantage.
Well.
So, but that also, particularly with gaming, it's kind of a different thing, because it's also just the amount of people, like the amount of dudes who are playing that much video games to get to the point where they could go pro versus the amount of girls who do it. And there are all female teams, but they're not to the same level. Anyway, that was a little bit off topic,
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense.
but just in general. And chess is another one where there's quite a few female grandmaster chess players, but there's never been a female chess player who has been up to the level of like the very top level chess players. And
Really? I wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's a fact. And I heard somewhere on the internet, so this is kind of a random, I don't know how true this is, but I heard they have done studies that men's brains often have more variance in like their kind of like IQ, like they're like certain, like their brains can go to greater extremes. So you can I think men tend to have more mental disabilities in, like, I don't know how true this is again, so take this with a grain of salt, but I've heard that it's possible that men can have more like low IQs, but they can also have sometimes these really massive spikes, whereas women tend to be more in a certain range. And you still have many women who are, obviously up there, but as far as chess goes in particular, there's never been
As much fluctuation in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that sounds like. I mean, it makes sense.
so it's just, and just to say, guys,
I mean, we are designed differently.
Yeah, we are designed differently and,
For different purposes.
And I think people, it feels like in the modern world, a lot of times people somehow have this idea that men and women have to be completely identical. Equal.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't want this to come out in the wrong way, so I should think about this. Because, man, the podcast, we opened before it even started. But just in general, people should realize that there are differences, and that's not a bad thing, you know?
Well...
And men and women both have things where that they're better at.
I do firmly believe that we were designed that way for a reason.
Yes,
so I look at it as in there are things that women are better at than we are, and I suppose some of those things I'm happy that they're better at it because there are some things I wouldn't want to be doing, and not in the sense of I'm lazy, but in the sense of it's not something a man typically does. Yeah. So,
and that's not to say there's anything wrong with, like, for example, women working and equal pay. That's a whole other thing that we probably will open at a different point. But what I'm saying is I feel like in culture there's this desire to somehow force something. Like, okay, an example of this is this whole thing, I don't know if you've seen this or heard about it, where they're talking about, like, girls playing with Barbies, boys playing with G.I. Joes. Like, oh, this is so wrong, This is just like, this is human nature. We don't need to, like, somehow fight against human nature as if it's wrong, We should accept the fact that there are differences, and, there's a reason that girls are made a certain way and boys are made a certain way, and boys like, to play with G.I. Joes in the mud, and girls in general, sometimes. Statistically, the majority of them are, going to be more into things like Barbie dresses and playing,
Yeah.
So, and you shouldn't have, like, this, like, oh, this is some sort of cultural thing we need to fix, because it's not a problem. Just accept it.
They go through all this whole equality thing. I know.
And that's not a very...
it's funny.
I'm not particularly pleased with the articulation of that point, but I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say here.
It's funny. Off topic. Along the lines of listening, re-listening, and editing our last podcast, I realized how many times I think both you and me were saying, oh, that's a topic we'll get to later. Oh, we're dancing around this topic. Oh, this will be fun next time, some other time,
Those teasers, though.
I just realized how many times we just barely touched a little topic and then just skipped over it and then continued and tried to continue with what we were.
Yeah.
But
well, I feel like we kind of... That was a good segue.
I feel like that last podcast was like 5%. We'll do that next time or some other time.
Well, particularly with the music subject, which we really talked about.
I just got really off topic with that one. I just digressed and I don't know. I really
which is okay. Which is okay.
I
feel like actually this discussion was relatively on topic because we were talking about the female racer.
Yeah.
But I thought it was I liked the plot device. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. It was cool seeing kind of McQueen really go through a journey of almost coming to accept his own retirement in a way, because I kind of liked the drama of the fact that you kind of in the back of your mind you're like, man, McQueen, he's gonna win this race, and in the end he doesn't.
Yeah.
So it was a cool way to kind of close that story too, and just like say, well, eventually at the end of the day you don't race forever. And in the end,
that they stuck in there, Hudson, how he trained him, and how they that his trainer, the Hudson Hornets trainer, is like, I hadn't heard from Doc in what,
50 years.
50 years, and then he's saying, and then one day I get a letter, and he says, and then another one, and they're all about you, and he's talking about lightning, and he's saying basically he found happiness still within racing, but training another racer to essentially enjoy what he used to enjoy. And Lightning in the end sort of takes that and says, at least to me, I look at it as he's still doing what he loves, and he found a way to do what he loves, even though he's not able to be what he used to be.
Right.
So
yeah, that was cool. So it was a cool ending, and I have to hand it to Pixar. They always seem to land good movies. Like the storyline of their movies often
they're supposed to be coming out with The Incredibles. I really do look forward to that. I think that's next year.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping they don't mess that one up, because the first Incredibles was my favorite.
Yeah,
one of my favorite movies.
That is also me likewise.
Yeah,
that's not very articulate, but yes, I'm very looking forward to Incredibles. Just the dynamic, the dynamic of a superhero movie that's also funny and has the family dynamics to it is really cool. That movie is so quotable too.
Yeah, it is.
I want to mention we saw a preview for that new Pixar movie coming out.
the Mexican holiday
Yeah,
one?
that one.
Oh.
That one is like,
It's like Coco?
Coro or Coco?
Coro?
Yeah, I want to say Coco.
I thought it was Coco. I'm not sure.
That one, I'm not sure about that one. I'm like, ugh, it looks a little edgy.
It looked like another take on some of the Tim Burton type movies, which I've seen because
it
my
has
sister
an
grew
odd,
up watching those.
To me, at least, it has an odd kind of thing where like he dies or he like is able to go to a place where all the dead relatives are living.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like the...
It's got an odd spirituality
my first
to
thought was, oh, that's the Mexican heaven. I don't know.
Yeah. Wow.
I was like, what is this? But, and what about the Emoji movie? The trailer for that was something else.
That was, man.
And that wasn't a good something else.
No. There's an emoji to use for that.
It would be disappointed.
Yeah.
The disappointed emoji. I don't
know why they thought they had to make that movie.
I think one of our friends mentioned that they were coming out with an emoji movie. Mm. And I think my reaction at that time was still, oh, great. It was just like, no, that's... Why?
Please, no. Please, no.
What other...
And that movie with the chipmunks, oh, that looked terrible.
The chipmunks.
It was like a bunch of rodents running around in a park.
I
was like cringing inside.
The nut job.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the first one. Did you ever see the first one? Okay, because I didn't either.
Thankfully not. I was spared that trial.
I had heard about it. And I never watched it, and I had heard that they were coming out with the second one. And that trailer that we watched, I had seen. That's actually been out for a while, and they still haven't released it. And no, it's not.
It looked pretty nutty.
Oh, that pun.
Anyway, so yeah, getting back to movies.
Yeah, was there any other trailers that we were disappointed in? There was like gosh.
The one with the bull looked mildly interesting. I thought it looked...
That one,
had some promise to it for a kid's animated movie.
What was that? I don't remember what that one was called. But it was
Ferdinand,
about,
I believe.
Ferdinand. It was about the bull who didn't want to be a fighting bull. I guess so. I mean, I was... It's something I may eventually see, but I looked at it as sort of like, I don't know.
Maybe it was just PTSD after I watched the Emoji trailer and the Chipmunk trailer. I was like, oh my gosh, something that's not 100% horrible.
You set up your hierarchy of these at the bottom, and that one was at the top, so that's the one that you're focusing on.
I'm like, man, finally we've got somewhere that's maybe slightly more sane. Like, okay, whew. But
yeah, I don't know. That one was sort of like I'm not a fighting bull, I'm like this nice, I don't know, what was he? He almost seemed... I don't know. I take a step back and I'm like almost girly, but
I'd have to see the movie, and I think it's based on some sort of other like book or something. So
it could be.
It would be interesting. Uh-huh. I kind of expect it to be something where like he has like a lot of like almost agility, and he's gonna like somehow use that to like pretend to be a bullfighter, even though he doesn't really want to fight. I don't know, something along those lines. I thought could be interesting. We'll see.
What else? I think there was... What about the unicorn one?
What?
Did you see that one?
That wasn't a trailer.
It wasn't a trailer. It was like the intro to like audio of the cinema, wasn't it?
Yeah, I have no idea what that was, but it was kind of crazy.
It was... Why would that work? Oh, it was a... Oh, the Lost and Found short.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Elena.
Louis? It was L-O-U-Y were the letters, because it was Lost and Found.
I don't think there was any Y. It was L-O-U.
Yeah, the L, the O, and the U were out, so it's called Lou was the short. Yeah. That was good. Pixar always
I thought that was really cool. I hadn't seen that one before, had you?
No, well, I think it came out with Cars, I would assume, at least.
Okay, they had... When they started playing that, I was actually partially creeped out in the beginning.
Really?
Just sort of like, what's going on with this? And then they always play that off.
I thought he was going to steal the things that were lost, and the kids were going to come out and like, my gosh, where's my football? It was like gone forever. That's what I thought the direction it was going to go. Yeah. But he actually was giving it back, so...
You know, what sort of creeped me out is like... So, for those of you who haven't seen it, it's about this, like... I don't know, this entity or something that is
sentient being.
It's all of these toys, and it's like the spirit of the lost and found or something. And he goes, and whenever kids lose their toys, or say a bully takes it or something along those lines, he's the one who takes care of it. He goes and gathers all the things that were lost and puts them into the lost and found box. And he's like,
and his body is like animated by the items in the lost and found.
He's made out of toys. He's
Yeah.
physically
So like
made
there's
out
a
of toys.
sweater and like 2 baseballs are basically like his body and his eyes, and then other extraneous elements
And
like
they're-
a slinky is like an arm or something.
Yeah. They were when they were presenting him, they had like this creepy like uprising, and then 2 eyeballs pop out that are these baseballs, and he looks completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
They always have to pull that.
Almost a Muppets look to him.
Yeah. But the whole thing was what partially was weird to me was what is the makeup of that thing? Like, if there's 2 toys in there, is that are they automatically that lost and found Lou?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Or if there's only one, is it not? Or
It seemed like at the end we had the scene where it was empty and there's like no more
lost and found toys?
So it was almost like
They were all returned.
yeah. But so I don't know.
I almost take that as sad too. Like, he's gone.
It was kind of sad at the end. I agree. It was fun.
His whole deal was to teach a kid a lesson.
Yeah.
Probably made him some friends in the process. So that was cool.
I like the scene where he's like chasing the Lou around the.
Yeah, that was funny. And how
was
Lou would
pretty
like
good.
turn into like organize the toys differently.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he was always looked different every
Yeah.
second. He had like a tennis racket for a head at one point, and then he got reorganized.
Yeah, he's trying to get back to the box, and the bully kid is like chasing around, trying to get his backpack back.
You see, what's weird about that is even if he made it back to the box, wouldn't the kid just walk up to the box?
Yeah, well, I mean, would you just walk up to a box with an animated sweater and just
Well,
take...
he was chasing it, so.
Well, I know, but like when you've got the baseball eyes staring you in the face, I don't think I would be willing to try to go in there and grab a toy. So,
Well, yeah.
but it was fun.
The Muppet Chickens are adorable. Have you ever seen the Muppet Chickens?
I have not seen the Muppets really in any capacity.
Oh.
I've seen some vague YouTube videos where they had referenced or...
So you know that we have chickens. Do you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know you have chickens.
Anyway, yes, I have chickens, and our family, my mom more so, really likes the Muppets, and she loves Kermit the Frog. But her and my sister have shared like videos of like the Muppet chickens, and they sing, and it's yeah. They dress as like showgirls and things. It's hysterical. They're just little puppets.
Yeah.
And yeah, that went into that just because you were saying that it.
I mean,
it
that's what
reminded you
I
of a
reminded me
Muppet,
of.
you know?
With the sweater face seemed like a Muppet face to me.
Yeah. So have you seen what other shorts have you seen? Have you seen the
I've seen a
the
lot
bird?
of them.
Have you seen the birds?
Yeah, that one's so good.
That's my family's favorite.
I like that one. I like the alien one was pretty good.
Yeah.
The alien abduction.
What about the guy playing chess with himself?
Yes, that's good too.
I figured you'd remember that.
Yeah,
that one was hysterical. But among the list of animated shorts, I really liked this one.
Pixar does well with their shorts. I always enjoy watching those, and it's cool how they do those in front of the movies. I kind of like that.
Yeah. It's they're a little short movie. But
So anyway, that sounds like I think that's enough for today.
yeah. So overall, you liked the movie? It was good.
Yeah, overall, I enjoyed it for what it was. I didn't have super high expectations, but it definitely met those,
Neither did I. Yeah.
and I enjoyed it. It was fun.
And I'm a car person. I like to pick out the little things, like the little Volkswagen Bug that was in there at
Yeah.
one point. I don't know if you've seen that. Just little cars that I like to notice.
I probably wouldn't pick up as much as you, but I
Yeah.
enjoyed the detail. The movie was very detailed,
Yeah.
and again, the animation was remarkable. If for just that, I think it's worth going and seeing. At least maybe on DVD after it comes out.
I'll probably end up doing that.
Yeah.
This is definitely something I'd end up with on DVD.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun. So on that note, we're going to say goodbye to you guys. Check in back next week, same time, Thursday, and we will be releasing our next episode.
Yeah, that sounds about like it sums it all up. So we'll conclude here. Next Thursday?
Next Thursday.
Okay.
Check back in for 2 Overthinkers.
All right. So take a look at our social media links that we have posted all over everything.
That's right.
So-
We have Twitter at 2 Overthinkers. We have, what's the Instagram?
That would be 2_overthinkers because for some reason someone already had that. So you can
Stealing our domain name.
Oh, I mean, he had it before us, but I mean, if you go on there, it's like photography or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not even really used.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, you can go follow him too if you want.
Yeah, follow
I'm not
2 Overthinkers and 2_Overthinkers.
Yeah. So that's up to you. But
And use the hashtag at hashtag 2 Overthinkers.
I'm gonna leave this on our Facebook page for others to be able to watch. And
And our website, if you want to download the MP3, the website is 2overthinkers.com.
yeah, and you should be able to, even without downloading it, you should be able to put your phone in sleep. I did listen to one of ours when I was proof listening our last podcast, and it actually did allow me to close the phone and everything, even though I was connected to Wi-Fi, and it was just fine. So
excellent.
We're doing a lot of testing.
Yeah. So yeah, you can download the MP3 if you want to listen to it that way. Facebook, YouTube,
yes, I'll be posting a YouTube video of this one, and I was thinking about posting our live stream on there too. We'll see.
That might be a good idea.
I'm gonna trim it up and maybe post it on there.
Sounds good. So you guys can see us all those places, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah. I'm Brandon.
I'm David.
We'll see you guys later.